Behind me is a memorial that symbolizes the Ranger daggers that were thrust into the top of these cliffs. And before me are the men who put them there. These are the boys of Puente Hope. These are the men who took the cliffs. These are the champions who helped free a continent. And these are the heroes who helped end a war.
That was President Ronald Reagan in 1984 delivering his now famous Pointe du Hoc speech in Normandy, France, honoring the sacrifice of our soldiers on D-Day. And while we remember the fallen, we also pay tribute to the president who made that speech. Yesterday marked 8 years since his passing. 8 years without Ronald Reagan. You know, I covered Ronald Reagan for the Washington Post, and I must tell you, he's one of the more personable, down-to-earth guys. And what's striking to me is because when he came into the White House, he was so famous. I mean, you don't understand it. For my parents, Ronald Reagan was well known as the GE spokesman and as the movie star. And then he goes through this period of, you know, when he's challenging Gerald Ford and all the intense politics. And by the time he gets there, you would think, well, gee, you know, he's Mr. Hollywood, he's a superstar. And Ronald Reagan was the kind of guy, because I was the low man on the totem pole in terms of the Washington Post White House team, Ronald Reagan would make time. He would like make sure that I wasn't getting screwed. On,
oh, that's great.
I'm telling you, he's a pretty special guy.
That's a great memory. I was just saying that in the break that one of my earliest political memories is watching that speech. And then later on, I read Peggy Noonan's book, What I Saw at the Revolution, and she talks about how that speech was put together, the one that we just talked about, the Normandy speech. And it's really interesting how involved President Reagan was, because he wanted to get the message exactly right in order to honor the heroes, American military heroes.
Kind of interesting story about D-Day. There was a window. Apparently, they could only attack. We can only hit the beaches on or around a full moon. And the window was open on June 5th, 1944. It closed immediately because of weather. Opened up only for a couple hours on June 6th, and that's what allowed them to get in there. It is of note, Juan, that President Reagan went there and made that speech on D-Day. I'm just pointing out, I don't make it political, but nowhere is President Obama anywhere near anywhere that he can honor 4,000 or 5,000.
At least you're not making it political.
No. You know, Eric, he would never attack Obama. But
I would make it political.
But for it's the 68th year this year. I think when it's 70, you know, then it's going to be obviously.
And President Romney can do it.
Right.
Oh, stop. Let me just tell you though, this is interesting to me. It was sent to me today, a column by Warren Kozak, and in it he's quoting from FDR, and FDR. This is on the day of the invasion. Is on the radio, and guess what? He's delivering a prayer. He says, Almighty God, our sons, pride of our nation, this day have set upon its mighty endeavor, a struggle to preserve our republic, our religion, our civilization, and to set free, I should say, a suffering humanity. And this is a prayer from the president over the radio. You never hear anything like that today, I mean, from anybody.
It's a good point. I mean, D-Day reminds you that we have it easy because they had it hard. And the irony is that there's kind of a gloomy change in our culture due to heroism. These guys gave us the freedom for immeasurable leisure pursuits that allow us to worship obnoxious pop stars rather than remember our heroes. Kind of strange.
Well. I just, on a political note, when I see Reagan speak, and I know Obama and others like to compare him to Reagan, I just, you know, there's nothing like Ronald Reagan, someone who really, truly, you know, loved America, loved the troops, everything, and the way he connected with the American people was just, nobody's been like him.
Yep, missed the Gipper. Missed that, man.
All right, coming up, the moment we've all been waiting for, Miss Dana Perino introduces her new puppy live here on The Five. Stay tuned.
Taking a nap.
I have Miracle Whip.
Just because we're